Hey there, ho there. This is Nuts and Bolts, where we take a look behind the scenes of some of your favorite episodes of Anime Abandoned's past. For the last Nuts and Bolts of the month, we turn to the ape shit craziness that is Ninja Resurrection. This was a beast of an anime, making for a beast of a review. And really, that should be ape shit back in that intro, but oh, fuck it, we're already this far. For those of you wondering why we had that line, we just came back from the gym. Well, technically speaking, I did just pick up Gabe from the gym. I didn't actually tell him that we were going to shoot that day until pretty much the night before. So that just kind of shows you what kind of shooting schedule we kind of operate on. And oh God,
And yet
that hair.
somehow we still managed to get evil Gabe into the shot. This is where people started to fall in love with Gabe, is when Gabe, like for some reason and completely uncharacteristically, Gabe turned into evil Gabe, and his eyes are smokier and more mysterious. He's wearing eyeliner in these shots
I
for
think.
for
Oh,
reasons we don't know.
it was we I just caught him back basically when he was just getting out of the gym, and that's why he looks the way he does. But it's also from the fact that for the first time, Gabe gets to basically act out his vengeance upon the Sage character outside of drawing dicks on my face back in the Dark Cat review.
Yeah, that was juvenile, but this whole string of Gabe events is more like, okay, so for every 10 terrible things that Sage does to Gabe, on the 11th, Gabe gets some.
Oh man. This is Ninja Resurrection, and I was actually I didn't know what to expect with the review because I never seen Ninja Resurrection before. All I could tell from it was that it was really hated because people thought it was a sequel to Ninja Scroll, and how can you blame them? It looks exactly the same. The type font was very similar. I mean, it's only for the lack of a keen eye do you realize, hey, it's not by manga, so how can it be a sequel? So I popped it in, and Mark was on the other end of the Skype as I was watching this, and I believe the night just was full of what the ah!
Yeah, this was a night of pure bliss for Bennett. It was one of those rare times that shit crazy meets absolute shit.
Yeah, I just could not believe what I was seeing. This was like it kept topping itself one after another, and I couldn't write down my notes fast enough. I was literally raptured by this what I was seeing, and hopefully that kind of enthusiasm comes through in the review. And oh, by the by, next time, mental note: if you're gonna do a low angle, be sure to kick out all the plugs from the cameras and lights.
Hold on. Other like public apology. For the record, I did provide the ear ringing sound because Bennett was trying to just make it happen in Premiere. So I found him the actual ear ringing noise, but unfortunately, especially since Bennett uses normal speakers and not monitor speakers, he had no idea as to how actually loud it was. So
And
we
oh, please
apologize
continue.
to our audience members who have tinnitus.
And more importantly, I didn't factor in that most if not a lot of people watch my videos on their laptop and they use headphones. So learn my lesson there. If I'm going to have something along those lines, listen to it on headphones first, so that if I can take it, then it's at a bearable level.
Yeah, negative 10 decibels from now on or
Mm.
lower, we promise. Sorry, guys.
Very very apologetic from us. But yeah, back to the apeshit craziness of this. I don't even know where to begin. Like from a theological standpoint, I think let's begin with God here in this universe that allows the devil to basically wreak havoc upon this earth for no justifiable reason, and the only one who could save him is not really Christian. In fact, the Christians are kind of viewed as evil in this anime. Oh, anytime I could put an evening at Kevin Smith reference, I will take it.
And people kept asking us, like, what's this from? What's it? It is from An Evening with Kevin Smith too. Evening Harder.
Mm-hmm. Specifically, it's the Canada segment of that.
Yeah, which is the first disc.
Oh God, we're nerds. But yeah, so from a theological standpoint, I this can only be made in Japan. Not for the fact that it's anime, but for the fact that culturally speaking, can you think of a story in which the Christians are the bad guys, the down and out bad guys, but they are in the right in saying that the devil does exist and the God does exist, but all of that is not like all of that is evil.
See, if you hadn't qualified it specifically with Christians, if you had just said where everybody but Japan is the bad guy, then I would have said all Japanese cinema.
Well, like I said, it could only be made in Japan. I cannot see this happening in anywhere else at all. It's just I don't know what it is with religion in Japan. I know that Christianity is a thing in Japan, but they're just not as devout, I suppose is the word. So they allow some more liberal creativities with the dogma.
Yeah.
This right here was when I lost it when I first watched the anime. Like I believe
Because it was
like
all on the rails and everything was like, okay, yeah, so it's gonna be, blessed are the cheesemakers and like pilgrimage and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, wait, superpowers.
Jesus is a superhero and he can reassemble a shattered statue of Mary. Oh, and then you find out that all of this was just a trick of the devil. So, okay, that's I guess the devil is that it would do something that tricks that tricky, but holy crap, if you're seeing this for the first time, you would think that Pat Robertson had a hand in making this.
Well, it's just funny that the overall arc of this story that never got completed is if the devil rises, Japan will save the day.
Or at least a Japanese samurai.
Yeah. Like no other force or anything like that. It's just like, nope, Jesus is a lie. Japan saves the day. Jubei Yagyu.
Oh, and I had to figure, like, what could a Japanese samurai do against freaking God? I mean, if a samurai could take down God, what makes God so special? You know?
Yeah, all it takes is strong conviction, I guess. I don't know. There's like this anime is just so off the wall that it's a review that wrote itself and then we just kind of filled in the blanks. It was like the Mad Libs of reviews.
I think that's why I kind of approached this review as if I had not seen the anime before, because really the structure of this review is could only go one way. Hey, let's look at this crazy thing. All right, chugga 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 chugga. Now watch this crazy thing, and that doesn't exactly make for a good review. But if you find a creative way to frame it, which I believe I did, I mean, I certainly liked it. Where are the loads coming at you? Yeah. Love that. I love that reference so much. And I'm not usually a guy who to rely heavily on
Yeah, we do.
references.
We avoid references wherever possible, even though we've been making a lot of Archer references lately.
We just got through writing a script in which, yes, we did put an Archer reference. But hey, reference the best.
That's right. But yeah, we like see the funny thing is that had we reviewed this straight, it would just come out like this commentary is right now, where it's and then this fucked up thing happened, tick 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 tick, and then look at this fucked up thing, tick 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 tick. So instead, it was about encapsulating everything that Bennett said, which I regret not recording it, but pretty much everything that got scripted was every feeling that Bennett was having as it was happening.
And I figured that the best way to frame it was to, like I said, to basically act like I had not seen it before, which basically wrote in this amnesia plot and borrowing more than a few ideas from Bioshock Infinite. But it was oh god. So a backstory about that. With every take I had to do with a bleeding nose, Gabe would have to take a little eyedropper and get some fake blood, which was very very thick, which was like corn syrup thick, and I would
Well,
have
it's
to
because
tilt.
I bought the good stuff. That's why.
No, that's not the blood that we bought that day. This was edible blood. So
Oh.
yeah, this had to I because it was going to go. I love that take of Gabe's. But because this was going to be in my mouth, this was going to be in my nose, I said, let's get edible blood. So that way, I don't accidentally poison myself.
Yeah, that's true. Because the blood that we're normally using is the blood that we got for the violence check shoot. Which seriously, I bought it the day before I flew out to California to film it, and I didn't have much time. And we have a like all year round costuming shop here in Philadelphia called Masquerade, and I just ran in really quick and I was like, "Fake blood, where?" And I went, "It's in the bag." And I ended up with this. I guess it's like it's a little bit less than a liter of blood that in very bold letters says "Do not eat."
Yeah, this was not. I could not use that blood. I basically keep it very safely underneath the sink with all the other ingestibles. But it was kind of a hellacious moment because I don't know if you've ever had something purposefully up your nose. It could throw your game off like nothing else. So to try to like have this long line delivered while something just streaks, pretending like something doesn't bother you as it streaks down your nose is very, very difficult. And holy crap. Remember, he's the good guy. That human Julian machine, yeah, he's our good guy because he leaves the kids alone. You see, but part of the biggest part of the shoot what is actually coming up right here, where I just go full out dead, and blood just starts flowing out of my mouth. I only had one take of that, and it would have to do. But in the original edit, when I would slump forward, it wouldn't do that quick cut to the devil's face or their
Yeah, that
version of the
was
devil.
that was an editing bay choice where Benedict showed it to me and I said, "Knock 4 frames out and put the devil's face in there. We'll just make it look like The Exorcist."
And to the anime's credit, it looks exactly like the Exorcist Devil's face from like those millions of screamer videos that you'd see on YouTube.
Yeah. And it worked out because once we got into that kind of like, okay, now we're into the stream of consciousness bit of this review. I mean,
Oh
it's creepy just to like I have the sound kind of down but not all the way down and it's still kind of creepy.
yeah. If I had a one wish about this review, I wish I'd gone back to this and re-edited this segment a little better. I think it would have looked a lot more surreal if I just reversed the images and put it upside down, just to keep everything so much more off kilter. Not that this anime wasn't off kilter enough already, but I just like I wanted to throw everything I had behind just where this anime was going. And sure enough, where it was going was a terracotta dragon. So if you look at this take, that sudden take right there, what was the original take was I would slump forward, and my thought was I would just have this sound effect play over me as I slump forward. And the sound effect that I got was like a rusty ship going through a shipyard. So it has like this very loud and it made me laugh, but when I played it with Mark, he just didn't connect with it.
Yeah,
Mainly
like
because it
sometimes
didn't.
it's not about the laugh, it's just about like sometimes you just have to go for impressive or just go for the natural feeling and that's not always going to be the laugh. So sometimes it's like, "Nah, well, like it looks creepy, let's just go for creepy."
And speaking of things that were deleted, in this exchange, I had it in the script where Gabe had another childish bit where he basically duct taped a sign to my back that says, rear entry only. But we cut it out mainly because this part of the review was going long, and I figured that one childish one childish prank was enough for Gabe back in, like I said, the Dark Cat review. So it was just a very simple, hey, get back in the chair, do your freaking job kind of segment. And holy crap. If you went into my bathroom after the shooting and you just saw all the used tissues just sopping with blood, you'd think there was a crime scene. uh, I had since cut my hair a lot, if for those of you who don't know. So I'm looking back at this and just realizing, holy crap, I had some lustrous hair. But
Really?
just, yeah, I did. But Mark prickled at it. He was just after me every single day. Just cut your goddamn hair.
Seriously, because I just no, like it's a Noah look. It is not a you look.
I mean, I'll be the first to admit I like what my hair looks now, so I don't miss it too much. But uh, like I look at it and I'm thinking, what's another month? What was another month? But
And
it's
another
it.
month was just it getting worse and worse and worse. And when it was, like down to about your bottom lip, it was fine. But when it's cascading over your shoulders, and every time you would shake your head, it's like the lamest fucking L'Oreal commercial ever.
So you're saying, I'm not worth it?
No, not at all.
Well, at least Jesus is crying for me. He knows what it's like to have long hair and not be appreciated for it.
Oh my god. As long as I draw breath, we will never come to this point ever again. Even if it means I have to fly 3,000 miles and cut your hair in your sleep.
So this entire rant, where I basically just list off every single thing that is wrong with this setup, is sort of the linchpin of this whole review. It required so much time to word this correctly. This is where the majority of the time spent writing the script, where this is where it lies. And I realized how much historical significance this holds, and that's part of what made us all crazy. And the comparison that I made during the spiel is actually more apt than I initially gave it credit for. And you are the reason why I made this G Gundam reference.
Yeah, because when I heard it and we just kept going over it over and over again, it's like this dude managed to out crazy Domon Kashu. It's finally been done. Like it's like for me the bar is always like the top end of the bar is always going to be Domon Kashu because just this hand of mine burns with an awesome power, and I'm just like Jesus Christ, dude, tone it down.
I don't know. I think it's just it was very much called for in the anime, just like Tequila Gundams were called for.
Like, and I like how this is how the read came out of like, and we're not done yet. It
Because
is
we were.
laborious the amount of crazy that's going on in this scene.
Oh God. And if as long as we're talking about moments that we missed in this review, the one thing that we wish that we could have in this review proper, the only thing that could have made it better, but unfortunately, time was not on our side. We would have had the return of Bro Douche God. We actually wrote a bit for Darcy to reprise his role as the classic God character that I created during the Lady Death review, but he was not available for shooting, and neither was
Neither was
our.
Locke. Locke was busy. Like all the bad call guys, they're working on other projects right now, so we have to get them like at least a month and a half in advance in order to get them into episodes now.
So what we're doing basically is saving that bit for maybe another time, maybe reword some things, because we need to get that character back in the show sometime. We can't just invent God in this universe, the anime abandoned universe, and just kind of leave him hanging out to dry.
But for the record, God in the anime abandoned universe, in the Bennyverse, is Darcy Lord. Period.
And yes, and his name really is Darcy Lord.
So marinate on that for a minute.
Yeah. An Australian bro douche is God in Anime Abandon.
What I loved
It's
about
actually I'm sorry?
what I'd really loved about this overall presentation was that we managed to sneak in one more Kevin Smith reference because like as he's coming as the terracotta dragon, I was like, "Get him, Jesus!" I was like, "Yeah, throw that in." And we didn't have
Cut
enough.
him down!
We didn't have enough time to include the last part of that line, which was "Break the chain of evil."
There just wasn't enough footage for it to fit, unfortunately. And I mean, like, wish. Yeah, again, if we could all go back in time and re-edit something, it would love it. Oh, by the way, this is animated so poorly you could actually see that there's no building that roof is under in the foreground.
Nice.
I know. I mean, this all looks. Oh God, I forgot about the medieval Iron Man there. But this looks impressive, and it is impressive. but when you actually study what it's doing, you realize that it's very sloppily executed.
Yeah, that's the problem with certain scenes like this is that they just don't hold up to scrutiny after the first watch.
Mhm. And oh god, if it took this anime, for me to realize that maybe I went a little too hard on Apocalypse Zero. I think that like when I look back on my feelings on Apocalypse Zero, I realized that I was taking it by its word. But the more I think back on it, the more I realize it was very much self-aware of what it was trying to do. And what I said about it just isn't fair. But that isn't to say that it's not crazy, because it is. It just deserved a little bit more of a level-headed.
It was just a different kind of crazy. Like
Yeah,
it was a ridiculous, gory, like really torture porny. Look at it, sort of anime. And
yeah.
this was just the sort of imagery that you get strapped into a chair and your eyes forced open for.
Like to put it into a comparison, like if Apocalypse Zero would be more like Ren and Stimpy, and this is more like freaking Eon Flux.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was your idea to put the whole Adams family.
Yeah, because you had told me what was going on because I couldn't see what was going on the screen because I was working, and I went, "What? Please don't tell me it's making the tentacle noise." And you said, "No, it's not making the tentacle noise." And immediately, all I thought was, "Wednesday, Pugsley, we want to tell you where Thing came from."
Oh God, what was she grinding on? His dick is not near his belly button.
I don't know.
And it was also your penmanship that drew the Woody Allen censor for about half a second there.
Yeah, like a lot of people didn't get that that was Woody Allen. That was our second consecutive Woody Allen joke.
That didn't mean to it didn't mean to go that way, but well, when you're kind of accused of when you're kind of accused of the things that Woody Allen has been accused of, well, the jokes just kind of write themselves. And out of nowhere in this anime, like in comes this really quiet, very, very serene scene of a lot of violence, but it's kind of picturesque in the way they put it. And it was like the most like whiplash inducing scene exchange I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah,
You
see the funny thing is that like none of the combat in here, like even though it's bloody, even though it's really fucking gory, like none of it is misanthropic, none of it seems hateful, none of it seems like okay, you're just doing this because you want to see bodies chopped up into a million little pieces. Like they like the entire body count is in service to, you know, like how many stormtroopers can we fell
I,
and make our hero look badass.
yeah, it was purely utilitarian in that regard. However, there were some instances where I think they kind of reveled in it, especially during like the child murders.
Yeah, that was over the line. That was just like, okay. I mean, I know that you needed a trigger, but you couldn't have found anything else. Like, hey, all of your friends are dead. All of like your entire flock has been slaughtered by this guy. No, that's not enough. That's just not enough for any person, not for Jesus. No, Jesus can lose his entire flock and just be like, oh, well, sheep die. It's like, but what about the youngest of the sheep? You
Look at what he's done. And my favorite part of that scene is that he just kind of slips back into the shadows. Like it's like, bye.
know, like youngest of the flock is dead. Later.
And he presents their heads like he's going trick or treating. Trick or treat.
Yeah, really. Like it really was over the line. Like it should have been enough to like your entire flock is dead. You have no followers. You're gonna have to start from the beginning. And this person who is so perpendicular to your belief system has made this tragedy happen. That should have been enough for him to fucking Hulk out. But no, it's got to be the tragedy of think of the children. How many more children will he slaughter? It's like zero since it was you that did it. Uh,
Yeah, the pace of this anime was just I could not believe how like it went from this that like what you're seeing now, pretty violent by all measures, and then they kind of cut to like happy-go-lucky children playing in a stream. And in between those two scenes is like this very dry historical lesson about feudal Japan, mainly about historical figures that do not appear in the anime at all. It's one of the most fascinatingly bad animes I have ever seen. It's one of the very few bad animes that I would recommend people see. I mean, there's bad anime that I like to laugh at, but it's only because I like to laugh. I laugh because I see a lot of anime, so it just, you know, it makes sense to me. But like anyone who sees Ninja Resurrection won't believe their eyes. It doesn't matter if they haven't seen anime or not.
Yeah, the review doesn't even spoil it.
No, it really doesn't.
It really is the journey is the most important thing in the case of Ninja Resurrection. You
And
like you know what's at the end of the ride, but it's all the loops and everything in the middle that you're just like, oh, holy shit. Yeah.
and oh god, look at that animation. uh
Life before digital was hard.
I know.
But you know what? I absolutely wouldn't have traded the look of this anime for anything. It's
No.
above all things, it is beautiful.
There is a design sensibility that I really like. And although it fails towards the technical part of the the technical scale of the animation, the design is actually is part of the reason why the violence is so punctuated. I mean, if you look at it, it looks fairly harmless. It doesn't share the same kind of visual tropes that really hardcore violent anime shares. It's that and Apocalypse Zero are very much that kind of anime where it doesn't look like it'll be violent, and then all of a sudden, whoa, oh god,
And the return of Grand High Regent Sage.
the Lord High
The
Regent.
Lord High Regent Sage.
The first time these two characters ever interact with each other. And this was your joke, and this was actually my honest reaction to that joke. I literally had no idea what you were trying to make with that joke, and considering what the joke is, I think it's better if we leave it up in the air. I know these commentaries are supposed to let you have an inside look at the making of this, but some things may never be known.
One person claimed to have got it.
But we don't know if that's true or not, or if he just said that he got it.
But if he really did get it and didn't explain the joke, thank you, guy. Thank you.
Oh God, I love this character. I love this character that has this Doctor D motif, Doctor Destiny, of basically a exposed skull face. But why, oh why, did the dub actor insist on doing this with his teeth?
ADV.
I know. It's like, oh, the character doesn't have any lips, so you wouldn't be able to do that. It's
I
like,
mean,
well,
yeah, that's a choice, sure, but I think that at that point, it was kind of like well, he can't possibly have vocal cords looking like that. So just do the Dark Man thing and just let him talk, please.
yeah. I mean, like, if you go back to Justice League and you go back to the Doctor D episode, and God, I wish I knew the voice actor's name who played Doctor D, but he did a fantastic job. And he didn't let the idea of like, well, when he's in his skull persona, he doesn't have any lips, so he didn't let that get in the way of his performance. It's the performance first, you know?
Yeah.
And this scene in particular is reason why you have to see Ninja Resurrection, because I can't show you what this scene entails.
This scene has everything hentai strives for today.
Yeah, it really does. And if you think that you got the gist of what this scene is all about just by what you're seeing here, then you are missing so much.
It's got gore. It's got harpooning. It has tentacles. It has everything. It's the Swiss Army knife of hentai scenes in a non-hentai.
It is, God, this was a hell of a way for the show to go out. And I'm actually kind of glad that it never got a third episode or a final episode, because the way it ended is just it's just apropos of what has happened before, you know? It's perfect that it ended on a cliffhanger where basically Satan is reborn and is triumphant.
Yeah. Sometimes it is better left on the cliffhanger. Even I mean, the assumption is that Jubei is going to clean it all up and everything's going to be fine. Okay, well, that's all well and good, but I think that what you could imagine the final fight is like would always be better than what finally got committed to animation. So better just to leave it unfinished.
I mean, like, where's John O'Donnell with his millions of dollars to try to make another episode for this?
This deserved it.
I
No, I
mean,
mean,
not.
like what it ultimately created is a was a fun episode to write.
Oh God, was it? It was even more of a fun episode to edit, and oddly enough, oh God, you hated that shot.
That
That
shot was like, that's it. This is a hentai scene. That is what I'm watching right now.
and yeah, but usually the hand goes in the other end.
Yeah.
But like if part of the process in which I make an anime abandon, the process that I like the least is shooting. I never really liked shooting an episode of anime abandon, but shooting the blood scenes was a trip and a half, and even the cleanup was was it was put up withable. And this is the first episode that we got the fantastic art from Elastic Ink, a guy by the name of Jose who now does my current title cards, and he does a fantastic job. And just wanted to highlight how good it is by kind of giving a sort of rough sketch looking for the title cards for the end credits to help give it a little bit more of a dynamic look. And as we're nearing the end of this episode, as such, in this commentary, I'd like to thank you all for listening. And regular business resumes next month. So take care.
Take care.